All right, welcome back to another episode of the Denial of the Day podcast. I'm here with the claims manager, Chris Barrientes. Chris, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great, Taylor. Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
Hopefully, our audience is doing well as well.
we always hope they're doing well. So, what are we talking about today, Chris? Start us off.
Well, I just want to kind of keep this kind of basic because we get asked this question all the time.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
do.
we're dealing with claims all the time, and when people's renewals come up and things like that, they've had a terrible experience, and they're like, "Well, I want to my renewal or expiration's coming up on my policy. Who would you recommend to use for an insurance company?"
Yeah, it's funny.
So,
It's funny that we're talking about this because recently a friend of mine, Zach, had reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, I watch your videos and you guys talk about a ton of stuff. Did I miss this?" And we have done
mhm.
videos in the past of this, but I think it's always worth reminding people. I always recommend every 2 years that you at least every 2 years, right? You look around and you see, does my insurance company have my best interests at heart, and does my policy reflect that with the coverage?
Mhm.
Then, after you get the right coverage, you want to look at the price. So just understand that. And what I tell people, hey, Taylor, who do you recommend? Well, it's an interesting answer. And this is how I answer that question. If
Uh,
they're advertising and marketing on TV, they're spending a lot of dollars on celebrity endorsements and football players and race car drivers and all this other crap. And
mhm.
that dollar goes to advertising and marketing and celebrity endorsements and does not go to paying claims. I know it sounds dumb, right? But we just looked up the largest insurer in America, the one that you have seen on TV at pretty much every damn football game. Okay.
Mhm.
And they have the guy that just was in the Super Bowl and looked like he probably should have been playing high school football, and his coach, and they're talking about this and that and the other. And we just found out in 2023 they spent $992 million on advertising.
That's insane.
That is insane. When you
That's
look,
insane.
and this isn't always the case, but most homeowners' claims are
Mhm.
like, we'll just say $15,000. I think it's a little bit less than that, but we'll say on the high side, $15,000 each.
Mhm.
How many $15,000 claims could that insurance company pay for the $992 million they spent on advertising? And it makes a big difference. So we are very
Crazy.
aware that because they do marketing and advertising, they get more clients. And that's the reason we see them across our desk the most often. But if
Mm.
you look up which insurance companies have the most complaints, you'll see the top four are all the ones that are on TV
Mhm.
spending advertising dollars on television instead of paying claims. Chris, what do you think about that?
You know, it's frustrating because we deal with this all the time. So it frustrates me when we bring up this topic. When
Yeah,
those dollars get spent on advertising, obviously they can spend their money however they want to.
right.
But when a large percentage of our own pipeline is working on claims with a one specific insurance company, something has to be wrong there. And
Right.
it's like, huh, what is going on, guys? And so, yeah, it definitely is frustrating. I think that, yeah, you can see both sides. Well, how are you going to get your name out there, in
Right.
order for people to actually buy from you? Of
Right.
course, you got to have marketing,
Yeah.
but that kind of marketing to that extent, and when you're usually all in the news about, these different lawsuits coming up and just everything, it's almost kind of like a spitting into the insured's face, like, hey, we know you that you're our customers, and we're going to keep advertising, and we're probably not going to pay your claim. Who knows?
Dude,
So, yeah.
we make light of it because if it was any heavier, we'd probably lose our mind because we see this all the time,
Mhm.
right? And you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I just wish that they would put people over their profits, and they don't do that, like
Mhm.
from our experience, right? And it
Mhm.
just is one of those things that we see it every single day. You spent almost $1 billion freaking on advertising. How come you can't
Yeah.
pay this 20, 30, 40, $50,000 claim, right? How much did your CEO make
That's
last
just,
year? I'm totally okay with people making profits
yeah.
and people making a lot of money. I'm totally okay with that. and companies doing the same thing. After you take care of the people that are paying you for a service, especially when it's at a distinct time of need. Okay. Insurance, we've talked about it before, is so different. You can't just go buy insurance and then return it because you don't like it. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You can go to Best Buy and buy a TV and you put it in your house. You're like, I don't like how this looks. You take it, you give it back to Best Buy, return
Hmm.
it, and then you get another TV and you're like, oh, I like this one better. Great. You can't do that. Once a claim has
Hmm.
been filed or a loss has occurred, you are stuck with that insurance
Hmm.
company. So you have to be smart about it and make sure you're making the right decision for you, your family, your business, whatever it might be. Okay. Because you need to have the
Hmm.
first and foremost, most importantly, the coverage and then the price. Okay. Because that coverage
Yeah.
will help you. And so a few companies that we know pay claims, they're a little bit more expensive, but I'm telling you, and I say this have said this before, cheap insurance is cheap
Hmm.
until you need to make a claim. Okay. Amica, Chubb, country companies, all of those companies we have seen, if we even get involved in those, they're like, oh, hey, you know what? We'll pay the claim. Okay, cool. Versus what the company that Chris was just talking about, when we get involved, they're like,
Hmm.
oh, you know what? We're going to change adjuster 17 times and oh, we're not going to
Yeah.
this isn't warranted, blah, blah, blah. Well, what does the insurance policy say? Oh, we're going to use our
Yeah.
internal guidelines and our internal guidelines trump that. No, they don't, because the policy is a contract. The insured agreed to the policy. The insured did not agree to your bullshit internal guidelines. Okay. So this is what I'm
Hmm.
saying in a nutshell. Choose the insurance that's best for you and your situation. Base it on coverage first and price second. Cheap insurance is cheap until you need to file a claim, and then you discover how expensive it is, right? Because if you have to come out
Hmm.
of pocket with an extra $10,000 you weren't expecting to fix your property, that cheap insurance is no longer cheap. So take that for what it's worth. We try to keep it light. It got a little heavy there for a minute, but we're going to bring it back
Yeah.
to the light side because we want you guys to understand we're here to help you out. BellatorClaims.com. If you're not being treated fairly on your property insurance claim, contact us today. Chris, what else do you have to say, my friend?
You just like I said, well, the three that you just mentioned is funny. I haven't even seen those since I joined Bellator firms, Bellator claims. With your
Right.
firm, I haven't even seen and worked on any of these insurance claims with those insurance companies that you recommended. So, I would like to just see one. Just give me one instead of like, the one that we keep seeing that
Yeah.
was in the Super Bowl. That was, oh, we're not mentioning names, but we'll just
We're not
keep it at
mentioning
that.
any of those names, but yeah, interestingly, we see the ones that are on TV the most. Again, we understand they probably also have the most clients, but you'll also see that they also have the most complaints. Take that
Hmm.
for what it's worth. Hopefully that's helpful. Zach, this one's for you, my brother. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and share the content and subscribe. Thank you so much.